Ever wonder how much you can improve in 1 year of crochet? Today I'm comparing my first ever project to a remake now, and let's see if practice really does make perfect. So it's my first project. It's not exactly a masterpiece, and back then I had no idea what I was doing. Like my tension, the stitches, they're all super wonky as you can see. Sewing was bad, really bad. So bad that one of the arms came off. Sewing the face also, I don't know, it looks so misaligned and it's just so mangled. It's not really doing great. The stuffing is also a bit weak. And of course, we have to talk about this line here. It looks like a dinosaur spine. Basically, slip stitch, chain one. Slip stitch, chain one. This is why I had this line right here, as you can see. And this is a slip stitch. I think you can tell if you crochet, and it just creates this really ugly effect. It would look fine if it was in one line, but again, I actually don't really like this effect. So when I was starting out, I followed this because it's how I was taught to do it. But now that I know, I actually won't do this. I will not be doing this slip stitch and chain one, so that it just looks more even all around and you just don't really get to see this really ugly line. Yeah, so this is how it looks. I will also fix this later. Until then, let's get into it and start crocheting. As you can see now, my stitches are so much tighter. I think partially it's also because I decided to use a smaller hook today. Normally, I probably wouldn't use this hook. I'd probably use one size bigger, which would be 5.0 mm. But for the sake of the demonstration, to show how these stitches are not it, these stitches will be much better. I'm actually going a lot faster than before. I think the first 2 rounds alone took me like maybe 5 minutes. And that was because it was my first project. Actually, the first thing I made was a scrunchie, but that doesn't really count. I'm just gonna skip right through and not do this slip stitch chain one thing. If you've been doing that for some patterns you've been following, I recommend you don't. If you're making amigurumi like this, don't do it. Unless you really need your stitches to line up perfectly, I would really recommend not to do it because it really does make a whole big difference. And I'll show you later at the end result. I'm going so much faster than before. Right now, I'm currently at the 25-minute mark doing my last stitch of the 8th row. And in the past, 8 rows have probably taken me like 1 hour, 15 minutes, maybe 1.5 hours even. Now, I'm almost halfway done and it's not even been half an hour yet. So I think that's really, really good. I think it's a good sign of my progress. So the yarn I'm using is known as Lover's yarn, which is in 8 ply, and it has a yarn weight of 5, known as the chunky yarn weight. I believe it is only sold at the store that I buy it from, but if it's not, yeah, it's called Lover's yarn. I'm using the exact same yarn so that we can get similar results. Something that definitely will affect the way your final product looks in crochet is your hook size. You definitely want to make sure you're not getting a hook that is too small, because then it'll be really difficult to pull the stitches through, but then it would also look a bit too compact, you know what I'm saying? But you also want to make sure you don't get a hook that's too big, otherwise you're going to have really big gaping holes between every stitch, like you can see in my first penguin. One thing I don't see talked about enough in crochet for beginners is your tension. People always be like, oh, keep your tension consistent, you know, but what does that actually look like? That means that the way you hold your yarn must be comfortable, consistent, and also just make sure that when you're pulling the yarn to tighten it, don't overdo it, but also don't underdo it, because then you'll have really different looking sizes of stitches, and that's definitely not what we want. So we definitely have to be really careful for that. When you're starting out, you definitely want to work with bigger yarn, heavier weight yarn, and a bigger hook, because then it'll be a lot easier to see your stitches. Definitely don't try for any of those fancy fluffy yarns yet. Just go for something simple, milk cotton or this Lover's yarn or something equivalent. Then at least you can really see the stitches as you go along and it's not so inconsistent. But one thing I have to say is that choose a light color when starting, because actually it's really hard to see stitches when it's dark colored, as it's kind of hard to tell what I'm doing because of how dark this color is, and if you're not used to picking out how each stitch looks like, it's gonna be really challenging for you to understand like where is each stitch, and then counting is gonna be a nightmare. So definitely choose a lighter color. That's probably why I chose green for my penguin. I actually don't remember why I chose this color, because now when I look at it, it really wasn't a good idea. But I think it was mainly to see the stitches better, and these were the colors that I had. Now I definitely have a lot more colors, so I can really pick and choose. But if you're starting off, you know, on budget, choose 2 colors or 3 colors that you could definitely use for a lot of projects. Don't choose one of those weird colors like I did for this green, because you won't really use it for much, I think. So unless you really know what you're going to use it for, I really recommend just going with something simpler. Maybe a brown, a white, you know, something simple. Black is also good if you're willing to try and see the stitches. You could definitely consider getting a nice blue, because there are a lot of sea creatures you can make, like whales, sharks. I've made a dolphin here and there. There are 36 stitches in this round, and last year it probably would have taken me maybe 5 minutes to finish it, just because my speed was definitely so much slower. Like, it was at least half, 1/3 my speed now. So you can see one problem I had here was actually understuffing it. I think it was just a bit too little, and I would like it to be a bit better stuffed instead of this. I mean, it's okay, but it could be better. So definitely gonna stuff this one more. Alright, I'm done sewing the belly on. It's kind of small, but that's okay. I think it was supposed to be bigger. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I really might be a problem with the pattern, or it might just be my tension. I'm not really sure. Anyways, time to sew the flippers and the feet on. On second thought, I probably should have used grey instead of black, but oh well, too late. Great, I'm done sewing this. I'm gonna get the yarn now to sew on the beak. Alright, I'm done, finally! Wow, it's nighttime, and yeah, I don't know why it looks so bad. I think the body is just, something is wrong. Like, this yarn is just not working with this pattern. This doesn't even remotely look like this. It's kind of ugly. Yeah, it is. I should probably fix the arm real quick. Give me a sec. Why did I cut this so short? So yeah, definitely my color choice is a lot better now. Closing these magic circles has gotten so much cleaner, as you can tell. And sewing, definitely. Tension, like, look at the difference in consistency. It's actually insane. And of course, base looks better. The sewing for the beak, I would say this is still better. It's not my best work, but I did it in like 2 minutes, and I wasn't really trying to go to make it good, so yeah, just trying to make it work here. I still don't know why this looks so funny. I guess the body shape is just weird. The pattern is a bit strange. It's just like a really long oval thing. It's cute. This one, I still love it because it was really my first project that I did all by myself. But this is really much better. So the improvement is crazy. So I'm really happy with how far I've come. This is not really an accurate representation of my work now. I have much better things, as you can see on the screen. But it really does show. Practice makes perfect. Yeah, and who knew my first crochet project would look this much better? Well, I think I definitely improved a lot in 1 year, but there's always room for more improvement, so let me know what you think, and maybe I'll do another video next year about this, and then we can see how much I improved in 2 years. If this took out your fancy, please like and subscribe. No pressure, but it'd be pretty cool. Bye!